Actually, I have thought about this quite a bit.
Yeah, for 30 years.
I have, well, not quite that long.
You're not going to hear that in the upcoming debates. You're not going to hear that laughter because there is no audience for Donald Trump to play to. One of the many changes that the Biden team has asked for between 2016, 2020, and the debates coming up. What you just saw was an early moment from the first presidential debate in 2016. And you noticed Hillary Clinton was ready for that back and forth. She had practiced debating Trump dozens of times. This is a video from one of those practice sessions. Trump is played by top Clinton advisor, Phillippe Reines.
I'll tell you what her Iran plan is. It's to pay ransom. Ransom. Did you see that pile of cash? I mean, I've got a lot of money, but you saw, and I've got a big plane. I couldn't fit that much money. It was like, I'm sorry, I know if I step away, I got too close. When she loses the debate, she's going to say that I got too close.
And Phillippe is with us now.
I recognize that guy.
Yeah? Yeah, you did a pretty good...
8 years ago. But...
How important is the prep sessions that are going to be happening now over the next 5 weeks?
I think to a candidate who takes it seriously, it's very important. Not because you're memorizing, or it's not like you might see in the movies or a TV show. It's, I think, to the way some people approach it and the way that I learned how through people like Ron Klain, who ran Hillary's debate prep and who is running Joe Biden's, he did in 2020, is doing it now. A lot of it is to kind of just the no surprise rule. You want to do as much as you can so that nothing is for the first time. You've had a chance to think through things. Like when I do this with candidates or people testifying, I will say that you're doing prep outside of the room as much as inside, when you're jogging, when you're in the shower. You're just thinking things through.
You're working through things.
You're anticipating, you're thinking through what might happen, and you're doing the same thing when you're at home. We all do it to some extent in our jobs. And sometimes people come up with the best lines that way. Hillary, you know, she had thought about everything that came up, but not because we told her to, or not because we thought of it, just because you get the juices flowing.
Fair enough. I think what's interesting is how Joe Biden flipped the script on Donald Trump. Anytime, anywhere meant that Donald Trump had to accept whatever Joe Biden asked for. 8 a.m., Biden taunts Trump on Twitter. Trump responds 8:43, and by 10:15, Biden has accepted the CNN debate, right? So CNN had to jump on this in the rules. But one of the rules that Joe Biden laid out was that microphones are going to be cut. So when it's your turn to talk, when it's Joe Biden's turn to talk, he gets to talk. When it's Donald Trump's turn, he gets to talk. The other microphone's off. Now, we'll see how that works technically with CNN. But a Trump supporter texted me. He said, Joe Biden may have actually set his own trap here.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say.
Because if Trump isn't allowed to interrupt, then he's not allowed to look terrible.
Well, I mean, also, both of them are more than capable of talking past 90 seconds or 2 minutes. So I think it's a healthy rule. You know, it's interesting. First off, today was remarkable. It's almost as if someone, you know, hijacked their Twitter accounts. And it's remarkable that in 3 hours, these two guys agreed on anything, let alone on debating. How many times in the actual dates, and who would moderate? I mean, I don't know how this happened.
Well, so it had to be that the Biden campaign. Come on, the Biden campaign talked to CNN and ABC.
Apparently, they started chatting at the Gridiron dinners. My understanding is that there was a little informal chit chat between people at different.
Right,
tables.
but we have to believe that the Biden campaign talked to CNN ahead of time.
That I don't know. But still, whatever it is, it's remarkable. I mean, they should try doing this more often. But, you know, I think, look, it marks the death of the Presidential Debate Commission, which is kind of remarkable. I mean, 20 years ago, you couldn't debate. You had to.
Well, you're talking about the Commission on Presidential Debates, nonpartisan or bipartisan, gets donations. What's interesting to me is that for a group, as Democrats are, that believe in norms and believe in institutions, it's Joe Biden's team that went around the Commission on Presidential Debates.
Well, everybody did.
What do they gain from this?
Well, the truth is that they don't serve a purpose anymore. I mean, the reason that they own the debates is because you couldn't get matching funds. Used to be that people, you would raise $50 million, you get $50 million from the federal government.
So it all comes down to money.
Your mother's milk. You couldn't get that. And then everyone started spending their own money. You could raise more money than the federal government would give you. So you didn't need to participate in the debates anymore. They lost their stick. Now, look, they're debating. So what's the difference how they got there?
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.